Now, we have just learned the man who went on a deadly crime spree in Massachusetts was released from a hospital that same day.
Arthur DeRosa's sister told police her brother was making strange statements and suggested that he seek help. He was admitted to the hospital on Monday, but only stayed overnight. After his release, he crashed his vehicle into a home outside Boston, then went into the house and stabbed two people. One, age 80, died. He then drove to a shopping mall where he crashed his car, ran into Macy's, and assaulted several people there, and one of them died. An off-duty deputy then shot and killed DeRosa.
Thank God he acted in the way that he did and reacted the way he did in, as I said, a professional but necessary manner to save the lives potentially of other people in that restaurant.
Police do not believe terrorism was the motive for the attacks. The actual motive, though, is still under investigation. We've got another missing person story to tell you about tonight. A northern Michigan woman who's been missing without explanation now since Monday. 47-year-old Lisa Herbert is 5'4", weighs about 165 pounds. They say she has blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen at her home in Hillman, Michigan. Her family and friends say she hasn't made an attempt to contact them. Anyone with information is asked to call the Montmorency Sheriff's Office. And today, a Detroit high school remained closed for the 6th straight day, and this is a story we've been following since last week. That's when an issue with the water pressure forced Central High School to close. The school is run by the Education Achievement Authority, and we've just learned the high school will reopen and classes will resume tomorrow morning.
New at 5:30.
A would-be passenger checks in, gets through security, but doesn't board the plane. How he ended up somewhere he never should have been. Coming up.
Mr. Trump goes to Washington. The presumptive GOP nominee hits the Capitol trying to drum up key support within his party. But not everyone's going along with the plan.
Love her or hate her, Sharon McPhail is getting a lot of attention from the parents in Brightmoor. Is her controversial way of teaching kids working or not? The story is coming up.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
It's a controversial plan to turn around a troubled Detroit school. Tonight, the defenders go inside the classroom at Detroit Community Schools to see what's working and what isn't. Sharon McPhail's management of Detroit Community Schools has drawn plenty of criticism.
And that be whether the fact that McPhail isn't certified, several of her employees have checkered past. But let's bring in Defender Kevin Dietz. He's been going inside the classroom, talking to the students, and trying to measure whether this is really working. Kevin?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you like Sharon McPhail or not. What matters is the education of the 800 children she's in charge of here at the Detroit Community Schools. She says she is going to set graduation records here at this school. But the question is, will they learn enough while they're here to get into college? Here, kids look you in the eye when they shake your hand. They say yes or no, sir, when asked a question. They work hard to learn. Under Sharon McPhail, graduation rates are up. Dropout rates are down. McPhail's mantra, we won't let any kid fail.
They can learn, and when you tell them you love them and they're beautiful and, you know, all of these things, it really makes them feel better. Some of them that they've never heard it before.
McPhail devised an individual learning plan for every single kid in the school, so teacher knows who's hungry, who's having trouble at home, who needs math tutoring, even who cannot afford a dress for prom.
If he doesn't get in here and get this stuff made up, it's going to become insurmountable.
The staff meets and talks about the kids on the brink of dropping out to make sure it doesn't happen. They ask community leaders like Keith Cooley to mentor kids.
For folks that haven't seen it, don't talk to these young folks, don't know what they're going through, I just invite them to come down and see. They'll be surprised.
And attorney Mike Morgenroth to donate money and time to keep the talent show going.
They can't even eat. And they don't know if they're going to live till tomorrow, so they live for today. If you can just change that and give them hope and show that they've got a future.
At Detroit Community Schools, teachers will go pick up a kid whose family's car broke down, tutor kids to make sure they pass a class, almost anything to help them graduate. Here, the peer pressure is to pass.
Say this school, like, it motivated me to graduate because so many kids graduate and I want to be like the other kids.
This school is an achievement school.
I'm going to graduate college and I want to do something successful with my life.
This school district was in the bottom 5% of state schools when McPhail started. It's now bottom 25%. It's off the failing list and in reward status for improvements. But standardized ACT scores are troubling. Only 2 kids have ever passed all 4 sections. McPhail says that's because good science teachers are hard to hire in a poor, dangerous neighborhood like Brightmoor. Still, she insists, ACT scores are improving.
Our kids were college ready in English, reading, and math, but not in science. That means 0. That's how they figure it. So is it inaccurate to say it's a 0? No, it's not inaccurate, but it's not the story. The story is these kids were all 0s, and they're not anymore.
McPhail says her way will work. The media bashing only kills kids' dreams. She wants police and community support, reminding all of us that 800 kids' futures are at stake. A lot of people have been asking about McPhail's $130,000 a year salary. We checked, and it's on par with other people who are superintendents in small school districts in the state of Michigan. The same story with her administrators. McPhail says she does need some help out here. She needs some mentors to come and talk to her kids, people who came from poverty and prevailed. She says she needs science teachers out here, even science tutors. And because there aren't enough police out here, she'd love to have volunteers who come and watch as kids come and leave the school in the morning and in the afternoons. And this is something all of us can do at any of our schools. If we want to help out, all you have to do is call your school district and ask them what kind of volunteers do they need. The littlest bit can make a big difference in a child's life. Kevin Dietz, Defender.
Kevin, it's been a fascinating 3 days and the glimpse that you've given us of what's going on there. You and I were talking about it earlier, but I neglected to ask you, and I'm curious, what's the reaction you're hearing from the parents of those kids who've been watching this series of reports?
Yeah, I got to tell you, most of the parents of kids who go to this school, they support Chair McPhail. They say they think that things are getting a little better. What they're really worried about is the neighborhood. They say it is as deadly as ever. So tomorrow, we're going to come back for a 4th day, and we're going to talk with people in the neighborhoods about the violence and show you some parents who have come together to try and make things a little safer here in Brightmoor.
Okay, Kevin. And well, by the way, we have also posted a timeline of Sharon McPhail's career at clickondetroit.com. You'll find it on the Defenders page. You can get there by clicking the News tab.